Righty, so for today's video we have this coin right here. This coin marks the Gurindji Wave Hill Walk-Off and the birthplace of Aboriginal land rights. This is the non-circulation version, but there is a circulating version. On the back, you can see right here, it says the 60th anniversary of the Gurindji Wave Hill Walk-Off and the 50th anniversary of the Aboriginal Land Rights Act, 1976. As you can see, here's the specifications. On the back it says, marking 60 years since the Wave Hill Walk-Off and 50 years since the Aboriginal Land Rights Act, this 2026 50-cent uncirculated coin honours the Gurindji people in the country, the birthplace of Aboriginal land rights. These two pivotal moments, along with the 1975 handback between Gough Whitlam and Vincent Lingiari, recognise the legacy of strength, determination and unity. Lingari's vision that blackfella and whitefella unite as one continues to inspire, reminding all Aussies that respect, shared history and living together as mates remain at the heart of our nation's journey. And as you can see, here is Uncle Vincent Lingiari and the then Prime Minister, Gough Whitlam. And I'll just sit this here for a sec. So, for context, in 1966, the Wave Hill cattle station was by far the largest cattle station in the world, owned by Lord Vestey. And this cattle station is on Gurindji ancestral land, and the Gurindji worked for Lord Vestey in very terrible conditions. The workers and their families were all camped in a dried riverbed and with little shade or any kind of protection from the elements. So eventually, in August 23 of 1966, they moved their camp to a sacred site to one of their sacred sites of Duggaroo, and over the course of the next 9 years would continually protest against their treatment and for recognition of rights to their land. At first this started off as just a small protest, but later grew to a much bigger movement about Aboriginal land rights. And of course, future Prime Minister Gough Whitlam played a pivotal role in this. During a speech for his upcoming election, he stated, "We will legislate to give Indigenous people land rights, not just because their case is beyond argument, but because all of us Aussies are diminished while Aboriginal people are denied their rightful place in this nation." And this would eventually culminate in him becoming Prime Minister. And several years later, in 1975, August 13, which is today, he would give the Gurindji people the deed to their land during so during a essentially a fire. No, sorry, just give me a sec. So he would read out the deed in front of the audience that granted Gurindji the rights to their land, and he would hand it over to the Gurindji. But in taking this a step further, the Prime Minister then, as depicted here, picked up a handful of the red soil and asked Uncle Gurindji to hold out his hand, and then proceeded to pour the soil into Uncle Lingari's hand, thus physically giving the land back. And this was a very pivotal moment in this country's history, which was immortalized by this photo, and not just this photo, but also later by a song created by Paul Kelly called "From Little Things Big Things Grow." And it is a deeply, deeply important moment in this country's history. And I feel like there's something missing. Oh yeah, like I said, so this would eventually culminate in the Aboriginal Land Rights Act in 1976 for the Northern Territory, and this would be a major stepping stone in land rights for Indigenous people, not just in the Northern Territory, but across the whole country. And while recognition and land rights continues to be an uphill battle to this day, and we have taken many steps backwards as we have forward, it's still important amongst us as Indigenous people to hold strong and to continue to push for a better tomorrow for all of us, not just as Indigenous people, but all Aussies, because although it might not seem like it, the respect of Indigenous people affects the entire nation, and their rights as Indigenous people have butterfly effects on the entire nation. And when you can continue to deny them their rights to land and continue to sweep our history away, that negatively impacts the entire country. And not just the country, but also the world's views of this country. And the same could be said for many countries around the world when you continue to sweep your history under the rug, simply because you do not like it. So hold on, give me a sec. Sorry. I'm a bit sick, so sorry about that. So when you continue to sweep the history that you do not like under the rug, this creates a domino effect. And while you may not physically notice this, believe me, it does impact on every single person's life. Hence why it's important to commemorate these things. So, next week on the next Sunday, which will be the 23rd, I believe, which is the 60th anniversary of the strike, within Gurindji land, they have an annual festival to commemorate the strike, and it will be the 60th anniversary of said strike. A deeply, deeply important moment in their history, but also Aussie history in general. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Peace.